Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. For those who've been here long enough, I have always opined on this platform that anytime you want to get the thinking of Raila Odinga, then you just need to pay close attention to what the Democrat from Suna East, Junet Mohammed, is saying. A few days ago, when addressing a public rally, Junet Mohammed indicated that Raila Odinga was not going to attend the presidential debate unless certain conditions were met. And that if those conditions were not met, then they were going to send Babu Owino to debate with William Samoei Arap Ruto. That was the moment I knew that Raila Odinga might not attend the presidential debate.
We cannot have an election without corruption. Mimi ninamsihi Baba the Fifth, yeye akionekana na Ruto anampatia heshima yenye hastahili. Kama yeye hataki kuongea ufisadi, Baba, don't go to any debate with that thief.
Kabla sijalika Mheshimiwa Waluke, nataka kusema jambo moja ambaye Dr. Mukhisa ameongea juu yake. Watu wa Kitale, mimi nauliza nyinyi, mnamfahamu Ruto kama nani? Kama nani? Kama nani? Kama nani? Sasa ati kuna wengine wanasema ati tufanye debate kati ya Baba na Ruto. Hiyo inawezekana? Hiyo inawezekana? Wangapi wanasema umekataa hiyo? Nione kwa mkono. Baba atakuwa debate, na hiyo ni maoni yangu, sio maoni ya Baba. Atakuwa kwa hiyo debate kama watu wataongea juu ya mambo matatu peke yake. Kama wataongea mambo ya integrity, mambo ya corruption na mambo ya governance. Kama kuna mambo mengine, tunataka tutume Babu Owino aende debate na William Ruto. Tumeelewana ama tujaelewana? Kama tutaongea juu ya mambo ya integrity, mambo ya corruption na mambo ya governance, Baba atakuwa kwa debate. Lakini kama tunaenda kuongea mambo ambayo haina maana, kama vile tuliona kwa Rigathi Gachagua, mimi ni kama Secretary General ya Azimio, nitatuma Babu Owino aende pambana na William Ruto.
So yesterday, Professor Makau Mutua, who is Raila Odinga's spokesperson, issued a statement. And in that statement, it is clear that Raila Odinga is going to miss the debate. And the questions which most Kenyans are asking is, why would Raila Odinga miss the debate? Well, we all know that Raila Odinga has a track record. Raila Odinga can actually debate so well. Why would he miss the debate? Let me just go through the statement very briefly, because in this video, I want us to look at why Raila Odinga is boycotting the debate. According to the statement which was signed on 24th of July by Professor Makau Mutua, who is spokesperson Raila Odinga Presidential Campaign Secretariat, the statement is headlined, "Our Position on the Presidential Debate." It says, in the closing date of a national campaign for the presidency, candidates must reinforce their social contract with the citizenry. It is critical that voters across Kenya have the opportunity to learn as much as they can about each candidate. Our campaign has traveled the country to meet with the voters, hear their concerns, and in doing so, find common ground with all Kenyans. It continues, typically, debates provide a similar opportunity for voters to hear directly from candidates for public office, to understand their vision for leadership, and to decide whether the candidates reflect their values. And they are continuing here. Unfortunately, a traditional debate structure with opposing candidates joined together on a stage is a bad idea this year. So politely they are telling these people that they're willing for a debate, but not where Ruto is there, Raila is there, maybe Wajakoya is there. And it continues. Simply put, our main opponent has proven over the course of his career that he will do and say anything in his ungovernable greed for power. Today, as his campaign fails and supporters abandon him, he has become desperate. He is a man who has no regard for ethics, public morals, and shame. So basically, they are trying to explain why they are boycotting this debate, because according to them, Ruto has no regard for ethics, public moral, and shame, which means they expect that should Raila Odinga attend this debate, William Ruto is likely to shame him because he doesn't have ethics and moral. And this is why he has demanded that the debate not focus on corruption, integrity, ethics, and governance. The key existential question that Kenya faces. These issues sit at the core of Azimio campaign. Any debate devoid of these questions would be an insult to the intelligence of Kenyans. That is why we do not intend to share a national podium with a person who lacks basic decencies. As is well known, our opponent has traversed the country hurling epithets at us and other key national leaders, including vile sexist attacks. It would be a colossal mistake to reward such a person with a national debate. We will not help his failing campaign. He can explain himself and his poor record to voters without our help. In lieu of a traditional debate, we plan to take part in a televised town hall at Jericho Social Hall in Nairobi, Eastlands, with ordinary Kenyans to offer our solution to the challenges facing the country and common people. Our flag bearer, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and his running mate, Martha Karua, will answer questions put to them by the people of Kenya openly, honestly, and free from what would otherwise be nothing more than empty serving political theater. Professor Makau Mutua. By that statement, it's a foregone conclusion that Raila Odinga is not going to attend the debate. In my view, attending debate is good and missing the debate is also good. As a matter of fact, after Johnson Sakaja's debate with Polycarp Igathe, Rigathi Gachagwa's debate with Martha Karua, majority of Raila Odinga supporters started advising Raila Odinga against attending the debate. Because, for example, in the case of Martha Karua and Rigathi Gachagua managed to score big because the expectation on Martha Karua was so high, the bar was so high for her. Debates are good for several reasons. One of them is that it's nowadays best practice in our democracies. So that Kenya finds itself in that national stage. And therefore, majority of Kenyans were waiting for Raila, Ruto to debate each other. Number two, in the last debate, over 30 million people were glued to their TV, which means it's a good opportunity to interact with the viewers. And number three, the international community would want to hear what these candidates stands for. And they were going to send their crew to cover, and probably some were going to give it enough airtime. So it was a good opportunity for international exposure. And lastly, it's an opportunity also to persuade the undecided. But Raila Odinga is boycotting this debate. The question is, why is Raila Odinga boycotting the debate? In this video, I want to try and explain to you guys why Raila Odinga is boycotting this debate. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Thank you guys so much. And the only request I'm making to you guys, please press that thumbs up button, drop the comments, and I want to thank everybody who has always supported this channel in one way or the other, including the people you are reading their names here who I received their coffee last week. Thank you guys. And let us get to the main issue. Why do you think Raila Odinga is boycotting this debate? Personally, I was looking forward to this debate. And I don't know why the organizers, for the first time, decided that it was going to be 2-2. I would have wanted a situation where we were going to have Wajakoya, Raila, the Agano guy, and Ruto, because there are only 4, facing each other, answering questions, selling their agendas to Kenyans, so that Kenyans were going to judge from the 4. If debates are supposed to influence to persuade the undecided, why do we separate it? That was the only issue I had with this particular debate, the way it was organized. President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto boycotted the previous presidential debates for reasons which were known to them. So Raila Odinga might also be having other reasons other than what they have told us here and what I'm going to tell you here. But in my view, I think Raila Odinga is boycotting this debate for several reasons. Number one, I think there's fear amongst Raila Odinga, in Raila Odinga's camp, that if Raila Odinga were to face off with Ruto, then Ruto is likely to outperform him. And that would really derail his campaigns. The truth of the matter is that when it comes to debates, Raila Odinga is good, Ruto is good. But William Ruto is known to even say things which he cannot substantiate, but with a straight eye. Ruto is one guy who can tell you a lie, quote a wrong verse in the Bible with a straight eye. So because they feared that if Ruto and Raila were to be put to a scale one-on-one, then probably Ruto was going to, to persuade Kenyans with his mouth. And this is something they didn't want to do. In my view, that is the main reason why Raila Odinga is avoiding this debate. Remember, Polycarp Igathe versus Sakaja. It was expected that Sakaja was going to be pinned down. Sakaja was never pinned down. Rigathi Gachagua versus Martha Karua. Expectations were so high on Martha Karua. Martha Karua ended up failing. Those two debates really hurt the campaign. So they believe that by Raila Odinga going to this particular debate and William Ruto outperforming him, it was going to hurt them further. And that is something which they didn't want to participate in. Number two, I also tend to think that the other reason why Raila is not keen on debating Ruto is because he wants to shield President Uhuru Kenyatta from attacks. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto and his team have identified President Uhuru Kenyatta as a problem in their campaigns. So when Rigathi Gachagua faced off Martha Karua, he mentioned President Uhuru Kenyatta more times than he mentioned their manifesto. And it would be Raila Odinga would also be in an awkward situation, trying, for example, to explain Jubilee successes, because he's not in government. He will also be in trouble articulating Jubilee success, because if Raila Odinga were to be on that platform, it means there are other occasions he would be defending President Uhuru Kenyatta. But how will that sit with other people who are not yet decided? He would be, in most cases, also forced to attack Jubilee government and their failures and try to tag Ruto to them. How will he do that when the shadow of President Uhuru Kenyatta is still lingering? So to avoid any attacks on Uhuru Kenyatta, either from himself or from William Ruto, the best thing for him is just to boycott the debates. Number three, Raila Odinga and his campaigns believes very strongly that the last two debates, William Ruto and his team managed to get leakages, that they were able to access Mwakenya. And that's why, in fact, someone was telling me that the main reason why Johnson Sakaja, a man who is known to keep time, delayed for that debate on that particular day for close to 20 minutes was because he had a Mwakenya. Someone leaked the questions to him. So he had to go through them with the help of their team, how they were going to approach it. And then when he came in, because he was late, he was allowed to enter into the room with his phone. And because he was allowed to enter into the room with his phone, he was able to, in most cases, make references to some of those questions through his phone. And Rigathi Gachagua also, majority of Kenyans believe, had Mwakenya, and that's why at some point he tried asking himself a question about state capture, and tried answering a question which he was never asked. And because they believe there were leakages, they think that Ruto will also have the same and will be advantageous to him. And number 4, Ruto had actually intended to use, or he had planned to use the opportunity to wipe emotions of the people of the Mount Kenya. He was going to explain to them why Raila Odinga never supported Uhuru while he supported Uhuru Kenyatta. Because this election is actually going to be decided in the mountain, how the mountain is going to vote. So far, there's still a percentage of the mountain who are undecided, although majority have already decided. So those undecided voters from the mountain, Ruto was intending to use this opportunity to win them over. And that is the opportunity which Raila Odinga is telling him, I'm not going to grant you that opportunity. And lastly, I also tend to think that it has everything to do with the structure of the campaign. And in fact, they alluded to that in their statement. It would have been good if this debate included all the 4 presidential candidates, so that if Raila is lying, then Wajakoya would be able to point out, Agano guy is going to point out, David Mwaure is going to point out, Ruto is going to point out. If Ruto is lying, Wajakoya was going to point out, someone's going to point out, so that at the end of the day, we are going to have a debate where one guy is going to emerge as the leader. Thank you, guys. And to some extent, I also tend to think that after the issues with IEBC came up, the DCI exposed. And lastly, I also tend to think that after the IEBC saga came up, the 3 foreigners and the DCI exposing Chebukati, I also tend to think that Raila Odinga felt very strongly that there was need for his team to allow that debate to continue, because a presidential debate was going to take the limelight from this particular issue of the foreigners, of Chebukati, the rigging schemes, and the rest. I don't know what to think, but that's my take. Again, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or 2, click the subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you, guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye.